When it comes to the most unique artists in hip-hop history, Andre 3000 is a talent that only comes once in a lifetime. From his out-of-the-box, genre-shifting creativity to his mastery-level rapping skills, the beating heart of Outkast is in a league of his own due to his one-of-a-kind talent, but also because of the way he ended up abandoning his rap career as a whole. Despite being one half of the best-selling rap group of all time and being universally recognized as one of the greatest hip-hop artists to ever walk on the face of the earth, Andre 3000 turned his back on his career, but before we can understand why, we need to look back on his beginning. Now, since the very start of Andre's career, it was clear that the Atlanta native was destined for greatness. Being a rapper from the South in a time where only East and West Coast artists were taken seriously, all the cards were against Andre from the very start, yet he managed to defy all odds, not just by building a successful career alongside fellow Outkast member Big Boi, but by making the entirety of Atlanta's rap scene respected on the global stage. Andre wasted no time in showing how fearless he was when running within the crossfire of the East and West Coast feud at the 1995 Source Awards, saying this:
"I'm tired of folks, closed-minded folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear, but it's like this, the South got something to say, that's all I got to say."
Now, after this defining career moment, which forced the biggest rappers on the planet like Biggie Smalls and Snoop Dogg to respect the South and Andre 3000, his career would only ramp up from here. Outkast would go on one of the most legendary runs of all time, receiving both extreme commercial success and the praise and love from the entirety of hip-hop culture. Now, at their core, what made Outkast so special was the way Andre 3000 and Big Boi created their albums. In an era where artists were beginning to see just how much money you can earn from rapping, many MCs felt a rush to either release as much music as they can or mimic the biggest rappers in the game like Tupac and Biggie, and when it comes to Outkast, they did neither of these things. From their style to their sound, everything Outkast did charted new territory for hip-hop, and due to the musical brilliance Andre 3000 and Big Boi brought to each one of their records, each new album they released marked another era of success for the duo. One thing fans loved about Outkast was how different each album sounded from the last. To Outkast, albums were not ways to cash in on something that was already familiar, but instead was a portal used to welcome listeners into another world. Their sophomore album, ATLiens, immediately set this precedent with its sci-fi comic book cover art and space psychedelic sound. By bending rap's boundaries the way they did, this allowed the duo, but especially Andre 3000, to thrive in ways that no other rapper has even come close to till this day. From his intricately written stories, which paid visceral attention to detail in a way few rappers could, to his vocals, which he contorted to use with the most catchy flows and the most infatuating of pockets, Andre 3000 was deemed a musical genius by many, and he would only uphold and strengthen this reputation with each new album he was a part of. From the all-encompassing Aquemini to the funky Stankonia, Andre 3000 was without a doubt one of the most creative artists in all of hip-hop, and this would reach its climax in 2003 with Outkast's double album Speakerboxxx The Love Below. Now, with this album, what made it so special was that it was two solo albums connected together, with the first half being Big Boi's project Speakerboxxx and the latter being Andre's The Love Below. Creating a dual body of work in this way that was so unique and allowed each artist's signature traits to shine through. The album was a smash hit led by Andre 3000's portion of the record with decade-defining hits like Roses and Hey Ya. This album reached astronomical levels of success, even becoming the only true hip-hop project ever to win Album of the Year at the Grammys, and to this day, Speakerboxxx The Love Below is 13 times platinum, which makes it the best-selling rap album of all time, and despite reaching levels of success that no other rapper has touched, it would end up being the last full studio album Andre was ever a part of. The only new record Andre would make from here was Outkast's 2006 project Idlewild, where the music being made was supplemental to the film the pair was working on at the time, so for the way it stands today, Andre 3000 walked away from hip-hop at a time where he reached levels of superstardom and success that no other rapper had. At the very peak of his career, with multiple top-charting hits, a consistent string of renowned albums that only got more successful with each new release, Andre walked away from it all, and the question is why? Most rappers dream to be on top of the world having the type of success Andre had, so why did he leave it all behind him? And to find this answer, we have to understand, Andre 3000 is not like most rappers. Now, from the very start of Andre Benjamin's musical career, there was always one thing driving him forward: purpose. From his debut, which put Outkast and Southern hip-hop on the map, to his final album, which told a powerful story about the madness of love. Every single record Andre 3000 released had its own unique value and thrived because of it. This is the main reason why Outkast is considered by so many to have one of the best discographies in all of hip-hop. The pair's endearing storytelling and distinct instrumental worlds all encapsulated something so different throughout each project, yet their core 5 albums connected together to make for one of the most compelling catalogs of any artist ever. So when we look at Andre's creative journey after Outkast, the real reason he never dropped any new music is because he felt he had no purpose to. Now, this wasn't because Andre was cocky and believed that he had nothing left to prove, but matter of fact, it was for quite the opposite reason. For years, Andre 3000 stayed away from releasing his long-awaited solo album not because of his ego, but because he had nothing he wanted to say. Anytime Andre had done interviews over the years, he was always asked why he is not releasing music anymore, and he more or less gave the same answer every time he was asked, but in a recent interview he did with GQ, I think he sums it up best.
It actually feels, sometimes it feels inauthentic for me to rap because I don't have anything to talk about.
Now, while it may not make sense from the outside to hear Andre 3000 saying it feels inauthentic for him to rap at this point, the more you listen to where he's coming from, the more you can understand his rationale. For over a decade at this point, Andre 3000 has only been able to work alongside other artists in the capacity we recognize him for as a complementary collaborator. When he feels the inspiration that is driving forward albums like Kanye West's Donda or Frank Ocean's Blonde, he's able to craft compelling performances with ease, but when it comes to finding this worth in himself, this is where he has struggled. Now, we all know that it's not a skill issue with Andre because he has been one of the most prolific feature artists of all time since his run with Outkast, so the question everybody asks is, if Andre is still on top of his craft, why won't he step into the booth and rap on his own again? In 2017, Andre 3000 chatted with Rick Rubin, where he talked about how his own anxieties along with his lack of inspiration have put him in a place where he can't just create the rap album everybody has wanted him to. Now, further explaining this struggle in a recent interview, he put this all into words best by simply saying that he doesn't have anything to talk about. Now, when you see how Andre's own inhibitions have restricted him from rapping alongside his own emotional angst, 3 Stacks' choice to step away from hip-hop holds an entirely different weight. As we looked at earlier, every album Andre 3000 released had a distinct purpose behind it, and this is what has inspired him to create at the level we know and love him for. So when it comes to making a rap album in the post-Outkast era of his career, Andre never had the same sort of spiritual awakening for it, and this is what has kept him away from his pen and his pad for so long. Maybe it's because Andre reached the very peak of stardom in hip-hop and achieved the very vision he called out rap for disrespecting in 1995, or maybe it's the fact that he is almost 50 years old and has been living such a secluded and private life for so many years at this point that he feels his music won't relate to people anymore. But no matter what it is, while it may be maddening to some people that Andre has never dropped the rap album we have wanted from him, in a way it's quite beautiful, and let me tell you why. In a music industry that's so dependent on maximizing your output, and in a genre like hip-hop that is so focused on stature and perception, it's so important to have an artist who does not care about any of this. Now let me ask you a question. How many artists do you think can look themselves in the mirror and at the end of the day say they never compromise their integrity? Off the top of my head, I can't think of many, as even the greatest rappers have succumbed to the vices and pressure of the industry, as it's near impossible not to when you're a sought-after superstar, yet somebody like Andre 3000 managed to walk away from it all, never compromising his integrity one bit. In an era where rappers rush to release albums without a purpose outside of monetary gain, it's so liberating to know that there are true creatives still out there like Andre 3000 who preserve their artistic heart and soul over everything else. And now this doesn't mean it's still not frustrating that we haven't gotten new 3 Stacks rap music, as even Andre has admitted himself that he wishes he could make the album everyone wants to, but he can't because his heart just hasn't been in it, and if that's not the force driving him forward, then we would be hearing a near imitation of the rapper we once knew as Andre 3000. Now, while we haven't gotten the rap album we want from Andre, the way he lets his heart search for musical inspiration and not business decisions has put him in the place where he is today, where he is now releasing a long-awaited solo album, but in typical Andre 3000 fashion, it is nothing like what we could have ever expected. Now, on his true solo debut, New Blue Sun, Andre 3000 is now using the flute decorated with jazzy instrumentation to get his message across, and while this is so much different than anything else he has ever done, and while it's definitely gonna make some people mad, this is the most genuine thing Andre could do. As the first track of his new album says, "I swear, I really wanted to make a rap album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me this time." Andre did not expect to go in this direction with this project, but this is how his creative spirit pushed him. And from this right here, we can see the beauty of Andre 3000 on full display. How many artists are so in tune with themselves that when they get the itch to create an entire album that will have them switching from rapping to playing the flute, that they will actually go through with it? It's a move most artists wouldn't dare to even think about, yet Andre embraces it in full stride. So when we look at Andre 3000 and listen to New Blue Sun, remember, while this may not be the album you expected, he didn't either, yet he let this new chapter of his career transform his artistry and finally open up the future for new Andre 3000 music beyond this, and you should too. So let me know your thoughts on everything Andre 3000, especially his new album, in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it to this point, be sure to subscribe because it helps me out a ton and it is free to do. Mr. F, Fantastic Hip Hop, signing out. Catch you in the next video.